Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this 18th day, we're technically 1 week away from Christmas Day. On this Thursday, there'll be a lot of good games on Thursday. Tonight, hopefully, Mad New Yorker's got my texting coming in. Either way, going to talk about kickoff here in about 15 minutes of the Seattle and LA Rams game there. We'll talk about that. Of course, 5 biggest games of this particular week. And listen, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. That's a big fight, folks. That'll be on tomorrow night. We'll go over that as well. Hopefully, Matt New York will be here when we get back from our break. We'll take our first and only break and be back here shortly and hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope.
Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
All righty then. Looks like we're back here live. And, of course, the Mad New Yorker has not came on yet, but we'll give him a minute or so here. Okay, listen, we'll talk about tonight's game. The NFC West totally tied right now. Seattle and the LA Rams. I want to say Davante Adams was doubtful. I bet technically he's going to be considered to be out. But we'll go ahead and double check that as I'm waiting for the Mad New Yorker to come up here. Davante Adams officially inactive according to Ian Rappaport a little under 1 hour ago. Okay, now. It's a 1.5 point favorite here for Seattle's actually favored. Now, Charles, let me make sure I got this guy's name right here. Charles Cross, their left tackle went out, had like a hamstring injury, whatever, in the Indianapolis Colts game here. And now he is inactive for this game. So you asked me, you said, well, who's a bigger difference here? You know, I know that Davante Adams is a bigger name. He's a big touchdown getter for this LA Rams team. But you got to look at the fact that this defensive line gave Sam Darnold a lot of fits, particularly last year when he was with Minnesota. But also you look at the fact that when these two teams played in LA, Darnold turned the game over. Darnold had 4 turnovers. So there's the Mad New Yorker. We'll go ahead and bring him on here. I was just talking about tonight's game. It's a big one. Don't normally put any stock in these games, but the winner of this Seattle LA will be leading the division, and then we'll have 2 games to go. Davante Adams, I don't know if he's listening backstage. He's not going to play, but also for Seattle, Carlos, Charles Cross is not going to play. That's their left tackle, and you know, we saw how sloppy Sam Darnold could be with the football. It's going to be kind of a windy day. Going to probably have about a 40% chance of rain tonight when this game kicks off. I was going to go Seattle. I really was. But when I saw that tackle there, I'm going to take the road team, man. 2016, the Rams pull this off and get that advantage with 2 games to go. and in their case, hold on to the number 1 seed. So, what's your thoughts about that game, real quick? But they're about to kick off here in just about a few minutes, man.
Yeah, I'll take the latter. I'll take Seattle 32-27. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams are suffering injuries. Both teams have guys that are tired on the line, and also some on the defensive part of the teams. Both of them are good teams. Both of them are fighting to stay ahead in the playoff spot and even be ahead in the division. So this is an important game for both teams, and I think that Seattle right now will have the upper hand just because they're at home. They haven't played that well yet, but I think this crowd will get them going. I think this is the time where this young team will start looking a little bit more mature, and without that dual threat that LA's missing, I feel like they're going to have to play a closer game, like play because Puka gets how many attempts a game? Like 10 to 15.
Yeah,
but then now he's going to get double that and probably average the same amount because he doesn't have a partner on the other side. And then I feel like this game is gonna be more of a tight ends game for Los Angeles. I mean, I'm sorry, for the Rams. And I think that
I did play Los Angeles, so he had it right.
Yeah, and then so I feel like even though the Rams are probably the better team on paper, I think that Seattle right now will try to take advantage of the situation that this is the first time Stafford is going to feel like pressure. Although Hightower did a good job when Puka was out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he's that kind of wide receiver that can demand he doesn't demand that respect. He's a great player who's replacing
Hightower.
Yeah, isn't it Hightower? Isn't that the backup wide receiver?
Isn't he? I'll have to look at their depth chart.
Isn't he a third string at the? Let me see.
I'll go back and check it. But
did I mispronounce his name?
They got Tutu Atwell.
Atwell. No, not Atwell. It's not Atwell. It's
yeah.
It's a younger guy. Hold on a second.
We got Robertson there as well.
No,
they've had some unsung heroes. For example, Colby Parkinson, tight end, has really emerged there as a big target. That's another reason I picked the Rams to win this game tonight. They're tight end there. Now you have Montfield.
Whittington, my bad. It's Whittington.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Whittington. And so I don't think he's a big enough threat yet.
Whittington. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's a big enough threat yet so I think Puka's going to get that double team, maybe the triple team with the spy on him. So I think it's going to be a tight end game for him, and I don't think it'll be enough, to be honest with you. And that's how I'm going. And I'm feeling Seattle's defense. I think they got it together, and it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great game, and I'm excited to watch the second half of it.
It's one of the best ones of the whole season.
Is this one of our top 5 games?
Thursday. We can add it on to the regular. Normally, I know we do the 5-bit, but this is one of those unusual circumstances where the Thursday game's so big I can't just ignore it. You know, if you don't want to add it towards the seasonal average, we can't. But if you do, obviously it's an NFL game. We'll go ahead and add it because we got different opinions. I'm
excited for this game. I'm going to stay up longer than I need to tonight. I had a few long nights, so
I probably won't finish it, but I will get into the third quarter probably. I've got it Prime, and I'll watch as much as I can. But I'm pretty tired. I've never finished these games. I think maybe I finished one, and maybe because I either had a fantasy player or may have had a wager or something in the last 2 years or so, but not many. This is a good one though, and even if the Rams do lose, they still have a chance to win the division. There's 2 games left, and I want to say Seattle's got to play 49ers again, and 49ers did beat them early this year. The Niners are playing well, even though they got injuries. And it's going to be in San Francisco or Santa Clara. So it's not the end of the world if the Rams lose.
Right.
Technically, it's not in the world if Seattle loses. But this is a big game because this is the second head-to-head. Mm-hmm. And you look at the fact that Seattle did have all those interceptions there by Darnold, and they were marching for the field goal to win the game. That in the LA, if it wasn't for the Charles Cross injury, I would have took them easily. easily. But man, you're going against Jared Verse there, and I think Donald's the other guy. He's a player out of Tennessee there, the other edge rusher.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
He's good.
Byron Young, excuse me, Byron Young.
Young.
And he with the UT.
UT.
He's having a heck of a season there on the defensive side of the ball. And, I do like Darnold, but he does have a tendency to turn the ball over a lot. And I noticed last year he had the tendency to start fading as the season he didn't have the best game last week against the Colts defense, and the Colts had a lot of injuries. I'm surprised that they didn't wallop the Colts, be honest with you. But I guess Big Country, Phillip Rivers really gave them some energy on both sides of the football last week. And maybe they were looking ahead to this game, though. Seattle's favored. They should win. But like I said, man, I'm going to take the Rams on the road. We'll find out. You got Seattle. I got the Rams. We'll try to be brief here with recaps. You came in a little bit behind. And remind me not to forget to go over this Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight. Will also be on tomorrow. This is a big weekend in sports.
Big sports weekend.
Huge. Yeah, we got the playoff, which we've already talked about. We've got our picks in, folks. Carlos, you got your individual picks. I've clipped them and tagged you. Big Tan and Rich guys, they got all their picks. And, of course, my picks are out there, folks. You can see those. We won't get to those tonight because we've already got them posted here. Of course, we'll comment on them after the game. Do a quick recap here from last week. Let's see. So I can get back to last week's games. I have to go on my notes here. Well, actually, what's your thoughts about Tua getting benched? Is this the beginning of the end for Tua with the Miami Dolphins?
I think the beginning of the end was when the Dolphins gave him another chance and opportunity. Because of the health thing, it's a very.
So you're saying they really shouldn't have signed him to this big contract a few years ago?
Yeah, it was a bigger liability than it was a possibility. So, I think that they kind of feel that now, and he's had his situation with the interceptions, and he can be a better quarterback. But right now, I think he's like the way that the team is going. He lost his number one wide receiver anyways in the beginning, so to injury. So, when you don't have that, you lose a little bit of confidence. He's had a lot of the Dolphins had some injuries on the offense that hasn't helped him. So it's forcing him to play out of his head a little bit, out of his capabilities. And I feel like they were just trying to give him more opportunities where they should have. I wouldn't say benched him earlier because they have two young quarterbacks there that probably would give you the same results. All three of those quarterbacks combined will probably give you the same results. So this is just going to help the two quarterbacks that are sitting in the wing get more experience and just give Tua a rest. I just think it was just too much for him this season. I don't think he's that bad. I don't feel like if he was that bad, he'd be a starting quarterback in the NFL. He can be on any team, but there's circumstances that he's and people say that he doesn't play well in cold weather, but there ain't that many quarterbacks that can play well in cold weather. I mean, not everybody has the same ability as Mahomes and Josh Allen to be able to, stick it to another team in the cold weather. So, maybe there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks that can do that in cold weather. Just be, top 5 quarterbacks. But he got the opportunity. He's not doing well. You get set down. That would have happened whether he was Tua or any other quarterback, I feel. So
yeah.
I mean, he's averaging an interception and a half every game.
Yeah, and you look at that. Talked about it yesterday. That the Pittsburgh game, he's walking into these sacks here, and a lot of people called him out for that. I mean, it was on a standalone game. It was Monday night game. He's woefully undersized. And I said this about Kyler Murray at the beginning of the season. I said, this Jonathan Gannon may be on the hot seat because I don't think Kyler Murray can finish seasons. Luckily for Tua, he has I don't think he's had any injuries this year. He just hasn't played well. But, I just think when you come right down to it, Scott Morgan-Rolfe was right. You should have just franchised him and see if you can get him hold off one more year before you gave him all this money.
Yeah.
And now you're stuck with it. You're just stuck with it. And truth be told, Kyler Murray, a lot of these undersized quarterbacks. I mean, I love, Diego Pavlik? You're going to have problems with these guys that can't see over the line like that. And but they're probably just backups in this league. And listen, hey, I'm 5'8", man. Nothing against people who are not 6'2" and above or 6'1". But it's very, very tough to have sustained success in the NFL at that height. And the fact that you add in, he's nowhere near as quick as a Kyler Murray. He can't get away. So everything has to be a quick drop. If when things get out of sorts there, which they're going to in NFL, you're doomed with this guy. And God bless him and Kyler Murray for getting a second contract and for getting drafted so high. Because normally the NFL would not do this, other than maybe a Doug Flutie. And, Flutie had his problems all throughout his career.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a small guy in the NFL as a quarterback, Doug Flutie, Michael Vick, maybe some of these guys,
and Vick's like 6 foot. He just don't look like he's as tall.
Right. But if you compare him to other quarterbacks, he was on the shorter end of the
yes,
he
was. Yes,
on the meter stick. Like these guys, they use their speed. They use the field behind the backfield behind them, the space around. They made space to throw the ball. They had to learn to do that because they're not. It's something that's not easy to get. Is time in the NFL when you're behind that line. So, Tua's. I think he'll adjust. I think the hardest part is to know that he's on a team and that liability situation where if one hit can doom the rest of his life. That I feel like that right there is just a red light, and you got to be careful. Even if he says he wants to play, we talked about this before with his concussions. Even though he said he wants to play, it doesn't mean that he should be playing. So, even that has to be taken consideration for any other team that might be willing to take a waiver on him. So,
he's. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, my suggestion is I don't think anybody's going to want his salary. If you cut him, you got a big salary cap. Maybe you just have like a Kirk Cousins situation where he's good for a few games. You just draft a quarterback and you wait this thing out another 2 years. Denver got away with a bunch of big dead cap money. They got the number 1 seed in the NFL over the Russell Wilson. It's not the end of the world if you draft right. They've already fired their general manager. They're going to try over again. They might not win another game with Quinn Ewers, but that's just what you have to do at this point in time. Not unless somebody's crazy enough to ask, maybe a Raiders gets crazy enough to come after him and you get some draft capital for him. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting story to follow as the offseason comes upon us. Another big star here, Chargers. Kansas City Chiefs had the lead. We both picked Chiefs to win. Had the lead going into the third quarter. Held on that 3. Could not hold on to that. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. He's done for the year. I said this is probably a blessing in disguise. They need to address their offensive line issues. Heck, since he's been there, he's played 21 playoffs. I mean, that's unbelievable. 2018 was his first year starting. They went to the AFC Championship game. He's played an extra season in playoff games since 2018. He needs the mental rest, if you ask me. And I think they need to reshuffle that offensive line and probably within the next year or two, because it may take him 2 years to get fully back, in air quotes, from this ACL. What's your thoughts about that and the Chiefs going forward in the future after Mahomes goes down?
Yeah, it's unpleasant to hear that those injuries to all these players in this past week, especially a guy like Mahomes, who carries a team and right now doesn't have anybody to support him to carry this team. The running game hasn't been effective. He's missing a few players in and out of energy. The defense gets players in and out of injuries this season. It hasn't been consistent. They haven't been able to score more than 27 points on average. They're like teetering at the 22 points a game, which is not consistent with where they were at the 27 up to 30 points.
Right. That they needed to win on the average.
Yeah. So, and we talked about on the show before too, even before the Super Bowl last year, that he's been playing in like 12 extra games and has a season over, and then everybody else,
more than a season.
And it's not just him, all his teammates too that have been on that team for the same amount of time they've been on those playoff runs. So, you've always been talking about Travis Kelce, and also how he seems like he's looks older as well. So all these things will take effect, and now he's out. He has a leg injury, so he needs to sit out, and that's, like you said, I think it's a better situation for him in the long run. Nobody wants him to get hurt. Nobody wants to see him get hurt. But this is something that may actually help him in the long run, especially at his age. It's going to take him a little bit longer to recoup, but when he does recoup, that whole mental strain that he had, the physical strain he had on his body, it'll be less. It's not going to be one season less, but it'll be something that he'll be able to come back. If all works out for him, he actually will be able to come back and actually be back by week 1, maybe week 2.
Yeah,
so,
I think so. And Brady, somebody wrote up that he got hurt in year 9 too, and that next year, which is 2009, they got to the playoffs. They got put out early, but they started making those runs again right after that. Reshuffled their roster and started bringing in guys like Aaron Hernandez, Gronkowski, and then they went on their second run there. Not saying that'll happen here. And I'm like Rex Ryan mentioned today on one of the shows, I can get up or somewhere, that they need to get they have to be able to run the football on a consistent basis.
Yes,
this is something they need to do during this time that Mahomes is out, and get the right lineman, get the right running back. I'd love to see him get a Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. That probably won't happen, but somebody like that where they can actually run the ball. And I know Andy Reid don't like to do that a lot, but keep the pressure off Mahomes because he is getting older. He can only do so many tricks as the magician that we've seen him be. Boy, I tell you, speaking of MVPs and stuff, that Buffalo game, I mean, down 21 points, New England was up. Me and you both picked the Bills to win that game. And 5 straight possessions, I want to say midway through the second quarter to the end of the game, straight touchdowns for Josh Allen. What do you think about that comeback performance of him? Total beast mode, man. And it keeps them technically in the race to still win that division and, of course, keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, there ain't too many quarterbacks in the time that we've been alive that we've been able to see that.
Right.
Maybe good MVP candidates in a season, but not every season. And this guy's been doing it consistently for the last 3 seasons, carrying the team in the last 4 games, last 5 games into the playoff himself. And that's, I'm not sure how much is going to be strain on his body, but if anybody can do it right now, and the mentality that he has and the competitive nature that he has, is Allen. And I've said this, and I'm going to continue saying this. As much as he's a great quarterback, and as much as he loves Buffalo and wants to stay there, he will never get a Super Bowl championship and being on that team. Like, it's not. It's just unfortunate for him. And so it's good that he is a part of that team, that he brings them up. But that team needs a little bit more balance, a little bit more depth. And every year you see this from him, you appreciate it as a football fan because he's making these games competitive. But we also want to see Buffalo be competitive. Like, I feel like there's some kind of, they're like the Green Bay Packers, man. They're just very passive. They're scoring. The games, they're starting to get ahead, and then they just kind of like let it go. And I mentioned this when I called this game that I think Buffalo's going to win, is that there's a good Patriots team, but they're very inexperienced right now.
Yeah,
and young, and this is something that had happened. They allowed this team to stay cooking, didn't put out the fire, and they got burnt. You know, the
Yeah.
Patriots weren't.
Yeah. I mean, they had some big running plays, but they don't really have a good running game. I love Trayvon Henderson with New England. Had him in fantasy, did pretty well with that lineup. But their left tackle is going to be out. He's been on IR for a few weeks, and you can start to see it as good as Drake May's played. They made some really good adjustments, Buffalo did, to hold him to 11 points in the second half. Talking about the Patriots there. I'll say this. I said this yesterday. If Ed Oliver can come back with this Matt Milano guy, this linebacker for the Bills, is a very good unsung hero for them. He's that guy that gets that third and short and gets that stop that the team needs and makes the other team punt. And Joey Bosa, who's brought in just for this moment, these last few weeks and then into the playoffs, you can get those three guys healthy on defense and keep the line intact with what's that running back's name there? Not Ray Davis, but the starter. I don't know why I can't never call his name. The starter there with Allen, they still have a shot to get to the Super Bowl this year because, listen, Mahomes is technically – he's already out. Lamar might make it. We don't know that. Pittsburgh keeps winning. And then, of course, you have who's the other foe there that I'm missing? You've got injuries everywhere with the Chargers. And I mean, who are you going against? Bo Nix and Denver? I mean, this is their shot here to potentially do this. And, of course, I don't have a lot of faith in McDermott and that organization either. But they look like they could get it together at the right time. We've seen it before. The Steelers got hot as a wild card back in 2005, I want to say, 2006 season, and went on to win the Super Bowl.
But there's a huge difference. Not only did they have a good quarterback, and Ben Roethlisberger, they had great support for him. They had two wide receivers at that time frame. They had a running back that can run through everybody. They had two old linemen that will at least keep Roethlisberger upright enough to make throws even while he was getting hit. So the Buffalo Bills, they don't have that, man. They have they have a few pieces, but they still one piece, two pieces short of a full set there, man. And I like the team. I like Allen.
James Cook, I was thinking about. Yeah,
I like that they're competing, and I'm not a big fan of Buffalo still, but I like that they make games interesting. So, but I don't.
It's fun to watch by all means. Lions and Rams. I mean, Lions. They held in there as long as they could. Got a good offense. They just had too many injuries on the defensive side. They gave up 40 points. They just need to add some more depth on that defense in the offseason. Any thoughts about that game? It was a little bit of a shootout there.
I feel like Jared Goff needs to air it out a little bit more this year. He's been holding on the ball too long, and he's not been taking as many chances. And I think that's because now they got a couple more double teams on the wide receivers when they're past St. Brown. And so, but I still think that he needs to force them to step it up a little bit more. And he keeps throwing on the inside. He needs to start throwing on the outside more, just to keep himself safe on the offensive side. But we'll see. Their Lions team is not out of it yet. They're the team that has the most depth on both sides of the ball that hasn't been able to get together because of these coaching changes, and it's just different. It feels like a different team right now, and I hope that same thing as Buffalo. I hope they just stay competitive and just make these games fun to watch.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that Green Bay Denver game. Green Bay had control of that game. I want to say midway through the third. I want to say it was 23-14. They had a 9-point lead. Christian Watson gets hurt. Then there's a turnover there. Love gets turns the ball over. They cut it to 2. And a few possessions later, Micah tears his ACL. Denver comes back, wins. Hey, listen, Richard Petty, famous race car driver, said, I'd rather be lucky and good any day. When you get the ball that bounces your way like that, you just got to ride the wave of momentum. But I'll say this, that Bo Nix, like a Jalen Hurts, like a Joe Burrow, really I compared him with Jalen Hurts. Two guys that third year in college, even when they transferred, I said these guys are going to be backups at best. They'll be lucky to get drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds. And of course, Hurts gets drafted in the second round, even when they had a starting quarterback in Carson Wentz. And this guy goes in the first round. I'm thinking this could be Christian Ponder 2.0. But they're mentally tough. Bo Nix is very mentally tough because he was coached. His dad was a coach, and he doesn't play the victim card. He doesn't blame everybody. He just gets better, and you see the growth from his third year at Auburn, all the way through Oregon, all the way even through the second year. He's grown from the second year, from the first year as a rookie, which they didn't make the playoffs, to this year. He's got that comeback route down. So kudos to him. And listen, they're getting the ball to bounce their way, and they can't assume, and they're going to have more money next year as the rest of Russell Wilson's contract falls off. They'll have more money to add a team, but you can't assume you're going to have this opportunity again where you have all these star players out. And I'm sure Sean Payton's telling them that every day. We got to take everything like this is going to be the year. Don't worry about the future, although it looks bright. What's your thoughts about that game and the trending upward Denver Broncos?
Been liking them since they've been coming back after the 4th week. I like the tenacity, Bo Nix's don't quit attitude. His skill level isn't sharp. People complain about some of the things that he can clean up, but you can't quit, and he doesn't. It puts his team on his back and keeps at it. Makes the defense play harder. Like there ain't that many quarterbacks out there that's feeding off the quarterback like this Broncos team that's young, vibrant. I said that I like them too. They mess up, but they forget and they get back on the line and just start playing. And they're actually all playing like a bunch of Broncos, just all wild out and doing their thing up there in Denver and other places. And look, that's 12-2, man. Their record speaks for itself right now. And I know they played like 6 or 7 games in the fourth quarter that they end up winning, but
yeah,
they're still winning games, and that's important, man. When winning feeds enthusiasm, it feeds confidence, and it feeds just the type of football you need to be playing. And I told you this, and I texted you, this is going to be a dangerous team because now they didn't win this game in the fourth quarter. They had control of the game, and they started doing this in the third quarter now. So they're actually learning from all the other games. They making adjustments, and if I'm any team, I don't want to play the Broncos.
Yeah, that was a very good game. I should have ended with that, but yeah, Minnesota and Dallas. What do you think happened to Dallas's defense? It looks like they played great for a few games, and you could just tell they just don't have it on the back end.
But man, their offense don't take any time off the clock. Their offense keeps going, and they score. Sometimes they score too fast. Sometimes they don't score at all. There's no consistency. So if there's no consistency,
kind of like the balls in the college game, huh?
Yeah. Just like there's no consistency there, then the defense is on the back end, and it's worse when they don't score. They take the time to get to scoring points because that means the defense has to play a little bit longer in the beginning of the game too. So the offense needs to get it together. They need to get their 14 points. Let the defense work its magic, and then let them rest a little bit, and just keep, because Dallas, for what they were scoring 27 points for the last 6 games or something like that.
They have one of the better offenses this year. But although they slowed down lately, and Guyton's been out, their left tackle, that hurt him, and Pickens is starting to be Pickens again that he was in Pittsburgh, pouting about everything. And they need to add. They get to do away with Trayvon Diggs and maybe just say, you know what, it was a good little play there, but I know Jerry Jones ain't gonna do this. But we probably should just let this Pickens experiment pass on We do know that we can use a number 2 receiver to complement CeeDee Lamb. When we just get a young guy there, we've got extra picks next year. We should go that route and continue to build around Dak and this group. I mean, they're still technically in it, but Philly would have to lose out, and they would have to. But that ain't gonna happen.
And credit to JJ McCarthy for coming back.
Yeah,
and having a better second game.
He's been playing well the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and because I don't believe that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he's been out there and he's forgetting all the other stuff and forgetting what the media tells him. And kudos to him. Made me look like a liar, but that's all right. And
yeah,
he needs to do good for himself and not worry about the media and just perform better and get better. And he did that on this game, and it showed. He was the better quarter. He ended up being the better quarterback, and that's not good. That's not a good show for the team they were playing. That was the ones that were scoring the most. So
yeah. Well, they're just a better coach team. Minnesota is. Dallas, you just can't figure them out, man. Anyways, okay. This week, 5 biggest games that are left that we just didn't play just now. Pittsburgh, big win Monday night, even though it was against Miami. One of the better games of Rodgers' season here. Caught the fountain of youth there. They got to play at Detroit. That defense, I don't know. Short week, older defense. You got T.J. Watt still got this lung injury. I think he's doubtful. He ain't practiced. I want to say he's doubtful for this game. They're going to Detroit. It's a 7-point edge here. Detroit's still technically in it. Looks like Taylor Decker hadn't practiced all week, but he didn't practice all last week, and he plays. He's got this shoulder injury he's kind of nursing for. But I do like Detroit to win up in Detroit and keep their playoff hopes alive as a wild card. 30-20, they win at home and stay in the playoff hunt. And Pittsburgh's still holding their breath, trying to hold off Baltimore. What's your thoughts about that game? Going to be an interesting game up in Detroit against 2 teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah, Detroit, most of the time they play good at home. The crowd's in their favor. The energy's there. They're going to catch a up-and-coming Pittsburgh Steelers team that's not really that up-and-coming because they still can't score more than 24 points a game. So and it's not going to happen against this team at home. Even with the injuries, Detroit Lions, they're going to try to fight it out. They're going to try to get to that playoff spot. And I think this is going to be a tough game for both teams. I think it's going to be 27-24, but Detroit wins it by 3.
You do got Detroit. Okay, yeah, gotcha. I got Detroit. You got Detroit. Great game on Saturday night. I don't like the way the college thing is set up for this first week. Why do you put a Texas A&M and Miami game early and put a Tulane and Ole Miss late? That's insane in the membrane. Otherwise, it don't make no difference to me. NFL said the heck with college. We're going to put a Saturday night game on. And sure enough, they're going to have a good one. Green Bay and Chicago will play Saturday night for the second time. This time it'll be in Chicago for now. There's a report earlier this week, folks, that possibility their new stadium could be built Northwest Indiana. I don't know if you heard that, but that's another story for the Bears. Either way, the Packers will have Christian Watson. He's going to be back this week, so it was a big scare there for him. That being said, you've also got the Bears. They won't have Luther Burton at wide receiver, and they won't have Rome Odunze, who had a foot injury. But, they played pretty well against Cleveland last week. I like the way the Bears have been playing overall. The Bears have depth at that position, though. They still got DJ Moore, still got Cole Kmet, still got Colston Loveland. I know those are 2 tight ends. But the fact is, Green Bay has now lost Micah Parsons. And, of course, they got Kenny Clark because they had to trade Kenny Clark for Micah Parsons. I like the home team. I like the Bears. This will be an interesting game on Saturday night, man. 23-20. If Caleb Williams doesn't lose this game, they stick to their running game. the Bears win, and the Bears will be in first place, maintain first place in the NFC North on Saturday night. What do you think about that game? By the way, folks, all that being said, I don't know why the odds makers have Green Bay as a 1.5-point favorite. I don't know why. What's your thoughts about Chicago Green Bay? Big game.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game for this division, a rivalry game. I'm not big on Green Bay. You know how I feel about them. And Chicago, I thought that they should have been just as good or even better last year. But now, they made good changes and they're moving up, and their quarterback is doing better things. But this is also going to be a close game, I think, and the two teams are going to battle it out. And I think it's going to be another game that's going to be like maybe 24-21, and I think that the Bears will get this one, and they'll stick to the running game, and they'll do things to fluster the Green Bay Packers. And their defense is going to be – I'm not sure how many adjustments they can make to be competitive, but I'm not sure, because that's a big, huge like missing piece there in Michael Parsons. So
oh man, that's huge. That deflates them.
And
They
remember,
still might going to do something, but I don't.
yeah, but we said that even if you add Michael Parsons, even if you make the defense better, the offense has to score points. Remember, we said before Michael Parsons started playing, and now you know. Here's the thing: if even with him on a team, they were losing. Him on defense, they were losing. The problem isn't the defense. The problem is their offense isn't scoring enough points. So we got to.
Yeah, they got some. I mean, they got Matthew Golden. There's still room for Jordan Love to grow.
How many more years are you waiting for this guy to grow?
Yeah,
this guy, he sat on the bench. He came up. Like I don't trust him. I don't have any love for him. Everybody's like, oh well, now he's coming into his own. I mean, how many more years you want? This is like this whole Daniel Jones thing. It's like, you know what you got when you first got him and he started playing. He's not going to get.
He's way better than Daniel Jones. I mean,
yeah, I know. What I'm just saying is like you see what he is when he's on the field. Like I don't know what
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
he's.
I don't think he's all world, but I do think that he's a guy that got a strong arm. He's a good athlete. Gets a little greedy sometimes. They did lose their tight end. Was it Musgrove or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Kraft or I get them too. I think it's Kraft that is the one that was having an all-star season, all-pro season, when they destroyed Pittsburgh up in Pittsburgh and embarrassed the heck out of him. He just needs to be more consistent, and that is that is a legit criticism of Jordan Love here. If he plays well and balls out, they could still make a run.
Why we got to keep saying this?
I don't think it's going to happen.
We don't say that about Allen. We don't say that about Mahomes. We don't say that. Now we started talking about this kid, Bo Nix. We don't say those things about him. He just got to be about it. He just kind of got to do it. And I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of Green Bay anyway. But for them to be putting all their shells in one basket. All them eggs in one basket, they gonna have nothing but scrambled eggs, because them eggs gonna crack, man. This guy is not the guy, and they need to know that. They need to understand. They're cheap, and they don't like to spend any money.
They're super cheap, yeah.
and that's what they're gonna get.
That's why everybody was surprised they went out and got Micah like that.
So I don't. They can put the cheese heads on and be all glorified that they got ownership of their own team. Fine, and it's football heaven, fine, but you're not going to see a Super Bowl with that guy as your quarterback.
It would be nice to see them win some games this year. There's another step for him to make. I just don't know if he could make it.
How about this, Robert?
He needs to elevate it just a little bit more and be more consistent here, and stop being greedy with the football and take his checkdowns. That's my biggest criticism. I know he's been in the league for a few years now, 5 years.
If you had to build a team and you had to choose a quarterback, would you choose Love or would you choose Darnold? Who has a better upside?
Love is way. I mean, Darnold's had 3 and 4 interception games,
So, but my thing is this: you have to build a team.
Reckless too, man. Darnold's very reckless sometimes.
Well, my thing is this: you wouldn't want any of those two guys to build a team with, and these are two guys who are starting in the NFL who are getting way too much opportunities for not being fulfilling the potential with the opportunities that they have.
They're not going to give him another contract, but he's good enough where they're not going to move him.
But my argument is this also is that the mass media, the people in the Well, now we got love for love, and this is love, and this. And I mean, we keep every year they keep saying that he's going to be the next big thing in Green Bay Packers.
I don't know who says that. I don't say that because there's not.
I want to see results. I don't want to hear about potential.
Yeah, but he's got room to grow, and whether he grows or not, that remains to be seen. Some guys grow later on in their career. Some guys never grow. Some guys take a few steps after their first 2 years, and then they kind of level out. But we'll see what happens with him. I don't think they're going to win Sunday or Saturday, but hey, you got to play the games. New England and Baltimore. Baltimore looks like they kind of got it together. That was a very good game defensively for them against Cincinnati last week. 24-0 shutout. Seem to be getting healthy. Now, this could be the start, or it started last week, where Baltimore just seems to get healthy and hot at the right time. This is a big game for Baltimore to say, all right, can we be consistent here? We saw what we did to Cincinnati's offense, and we shut them down. Mm-hmm. Got some good players, Roquan Smith, and I forgot that really good safety they got up there. But you know what I'm talking about. Plays the back end really good. They're at home. They're 2.5-point favorites over New England. New England probably bounced back, but I don't think with Campbell out, their left tackle, I think they're going to be – and they don't have that consistent running game. Ray will have them ready to play because he always does on primetime games, but I still like the Patriots to win this game. 27-23, I think the Patriots Baltimore Patriots. The Ravens, 27-23. What I predicting comes to fruition, the Steelers will lose early, and the Ravens will win later on at the 7-20, 8-20 Sunday night game. The Ravens will be back in first place in the AFC North at the end of Sunday night with the big win over the Patriots and give them their first two-game losing streak of the season. That's what I'm seeing happening. But, hey, very talented player in Drake May, looking like an MVP. And, you had Mike Vrabel's a very, very good coach. You never know what can happen, but I'm picking the Ravens to get this win and be in first place Sunday night. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, the Ravens team is coming off a win. They did the zero that they left Cincinnati with, and they're feeling big about themselves. I hope the defense keeps playing big. I'm not a big fan of Drake May. I think he does have a lot of potential. I don't like that they like. I feel like he's going to be his own quarterback, and he's going to be nothing like Tom Brady. But he's got big shoes to fill there, and I feel like he should just throw them shoes out and create his own. But other than that, like that defense is good. I think they're going to pound out that offensive line that's beat up a little bit. They're going to stop a running game that's kind of non-existent there anymore, and I think it's going to be 33-17. I don't think that the Patriots will be able to score that much on this defense, and I call the Ravens to win this game.
Nice, good game there, Chief. This game almost passed up, but this is actually a very, very good 1 o'clock window, 12 o'clock Central game. Tampa and Carolina, both at 7-7. These are the two of the oddest teams here. Carolina can lose to the Saints twice, and so can Tampa at home. But Carolina can go out and beat the Rams. And Tampa can go on the road. Who did they beat on the road this year? Like Tampa or Seattle or somebody? They just have they beat this very good Houston team earlier this year. If I'm not mistaken. Both 7-7. The winner will be in first place. Tampa was a 3-point favorite last year against this team in Carolina and won it in overtime. Now Leon Cohen's a new head coach for Jacksonville. That's the former offensive coordinator for Tampa. Tampa's offense has slowed down a bit. This Josh Grisser guy is an in-house hire, and they haven't quite hit those peaks like they have last year offensively, although they've got better weapons there with Emeka Egbuka. Though they've had their share of injuries, but Todd Bowles was the most ticked off I've ever seen him after losing this time last week to Atlanta. I got a feeling that this team, Carolina's left tackle, looks like he won't play. He didn't practice today either. So I reluctantly picked Tampa to win this game 23-20, almost like last year. I think it was 26-23 last year in overtime. I think Tampa wins this game. Barely. They've had a little bit more time to prepare because they played last Thursday. What do you think about this game? It could go either way.
Yeah, and those teams that they beat, the bigger teams that was Seattle and San Francisco at that, but San Francisco was still kind of beat up, but they won back to back, Seattle and then San Francisco. This game's tough to predict. I feel like I feel like they're in that Twilight Zone division. Also, their team is a Twilight Zone type of team. One day there's something, then the next day they're not, and I don't know what to think anymore. I felt like maybe the defense could be more consistent on offense, but there's on both sides of those teams they're just so much inconsistency, and that's what you see in their standings. So it's a toss up. I'll go 24-21 either team. I'll go with Tampa Bay for this day. Maybe they stop their losing streak, but I'll pick Tampa Bay. I mean, I feel like they have the better team on paper, but they're not showing it on the field at all. So
right, yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah,
I'm with you. It'll be a fun game. I'll
watch
all that game on Red Zone. That'll be a good one. This game may be the game of the week, other than maybe tonight's game, and I just hate the fact tonight's game is on Thursday night. Jacksonville and Denver. That could be a playoff game. That could be a preview game. Broncos are favored by 3. Both teams in first place in their divisions. Denver playing for the number 1 overall seed. You can make an argument Denver's a little bit flat after that big win over Green Bay last week. Jags are playing well as of late. But listen, the Jags, look at their road record here. I had to screenshot this. Overtime win against the Raiders. They lost at Houston. Overtime win against Arizona. Their only impressive road win was against the lowly Tennessee Titans, 25-3. Other than that, I don't know if. By the way, they played the Rams in London. They usually play well in London. They got their teeth kicked in. Total blowout that game. There's no way I can trust them on the road. Could they catch Denver kind of letting their foot off the gas? Possibly. But because Brian Thomas is back healthy and Jacoby Myers is playing well, that being said, I got to take the home team here. I mean, there's no way I could trust Jacksonville. I just told you what the bad teams that they went to overtime with. 2 teams in the top 10 in the draft, Arizona and the Raiders there. So I like Denver 31-27. Be a fun game though to win this, and they'll be 13-2 after this game. What are your thoughts about that game? Trevor Lawrence versus Bo Nix. Interesting game.
Yeah, baby Jesus, Trevor Lawrence. I said
football
that
Jesus.
Yeah, football Jesus. He was able to take the last 2 games, put it on his shoulder, and somehow or another find a way to victory. But this is the Denver Broncos. They're gonna come out big and strong, and I don't think that there's enough spirit of Jesus and Trevor Lawrence to lift up this team and beat up and not get beat up by this defense that the Broncos have. You know, they're limiting plays in the air and rushing, and they're in the top 5 of the defense in both of those. And the Jaguars, it takes them a few quarters to get into the game. So I don't think that as well as they're playing, I don't think that they have it to beat the Broncos. And this might actually, because the Broncos are coming off of that game, I'm thinking like you. I think this game actually might go into overtime. This game is going to be close.
It may be very, very tight. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be tight because just because of like conditioning wise, right? Like both of these teams played really, really good their last games and last 2 games, and they might be just tired. And 27-24. Denver by a field goal in overtime, man.
Okay, cool, man. So, folks, that's our top 5 biggest games of the week. So Friday night tomorrow, and I'm hoping I'm going to have a lot more energy tomorrow because I'm going to drive Uber after work. And hopefully I'll get home around my time, around 10:15. Hopefully I got enough drive in me to drive to 10:10, because at 10:30 our time, 11:30 your time on Netflix, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul will be playing. And listen, I know that Joshua has got an impressive resume. Let me look at it real quick here. They got 6'6", 245. Joshua is. Remember, he beat Klitschko in 2017. He beat Anthony Ruiz in a rematch. He's got some pretty good. He's got some pretty good wins here. In one belt or class, he's considered WBC. He's 10th ranked. He's WBO. He's 3rd ranked. That's Joshua. Now Jake Paul. Listen. Jake Paul, there is a chance he could win this fight, man.
There is a very big chance he can win this fight.
Yeah, Ruiz, this fat guy, knocked out Paul or Anthony Joshua. The first time they fought, now Joshua beat him in the rematch,
right.
in the rematch there. But listen, 6'1", 185. There is a height difference here, but listen, he has beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He won the Tyson fight. I know Tyson was bad shape and a lot older. He's beat some MMA guys before, beat Nate Diaz. So he's got a shot to win this fight. I think Joshua will probably not be an idiot and leave his chin out there. He does have a glass jaw potentially to get knocked out. But I think Joshua will probably win this in a decision, 12-round decision. I think Paul will be able to hang in there long enough to do that. I don't think he's going to knock Paul out. Part of me would like to see him do it. Part of me would like to see Paul beat this guy. And so we could see Paul fight Usyk, who's the heavyweight champion of the world. What's your thoughts about this fight? I'm excited about this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it. I'm not excited that I'm going to just try to get to a nearest pub, bar, or download Netflix right away.
That's what I'm doing.
It's not because of Paul, but it's because of the other fighter. I'm not a big Joshua. Like after that fight against Ruiz, the first time I was like, this guy was supposed to be the next.
He looked like a specimen at 6'6".
Yeah, like Evander Holyfield or something, and he
right.
And
I'm thinking Lennox Lewis, because he's a Brit and he's tall.
Right. But you know what I'm saying,
Lennox Lewis has a somewhat of a glass jaw too,
Yeah, and it was just not. And that division is so tough, man, to decipher and to judge too. And look, if he's ranked 5th, and this guy gets knocked out at being ranked 5th, what does that put Ryan at? Where does that put him at?
That Paul is 14th. So he's ranked 14th and he's on 1. So I mean that would put him. That could potentially put him all the way to top 5 in the world.
Right, he'd be a top at least in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I want to watch this fight. And I've been telling people to take this guy for real and serious, because he's got the money to train. He's got he did all this internet.
He's won me over. Yeah,
he did all this internet stuff, but that's not what he's about. And like you see it when he started fighting. When he started fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he was seriously boxing, like doing boxing things instead of just going out there and trying to fight. And that was good because old boxing heads, they're like, he look at the stance, look at his look at it the way he's throwing his right, he's his blocks are off a little, they're all going to criticize and break this guy down. But when he did that fight, he started putting everything together. That was good for him. And you guys had take him for serious and for real, because even if he doesn't feel like the guy you want to root for, he's the guy actually doing it. So this fight is going to determine whether he does belong in the top 10. And I'm to be honest with you, I was kind of over Joshua, and it wasn't
Josh
him.
was 36, by the way, and Paul is 28.
Yeah,
but at least
yeah.
he's not 56 and Paul being, you know what I'm saying?
And his manager trying to be the Don King of Britain, of England and UK. Like I was not liking that. That's who's managing him, but those two things combined, I'd rather just see this guy Paul just do his thing and get up there in the top 10. And
what are
then,
you predicting is going to happen?
I think it's going to be a decision, but I think it's going to be Paul.
So Paul's going to win in the decision. He's plus 550. That would be pretty good money. If you put $5 on that, that would have been, $25, I guess, $250. I mean, that would pay pretty good if you bet Paul to beat. You think Paul's going to outbox Joshua?
Yeah, I think
12 out for 12 rounds.
Yeah, because I think he's been putting in the work, and he's younger, and he's hungry.
He is 8 years younger,
and he wants to be a boxer. I think Joshua's just boxing because he is a boxer. He has nothing to motivate him except for that he don't want to.
I think this fight will motivate him because Paul's pretty popular, man.
He didn't think like that when Ortiz beat him up.
Well, he beat him the second time.
Yeah, but that took
he
him.
stuck his chin out there. I was, if you watch that fight, and again, there's no way I lean in Ortiz with those quick hands. He might have been chunky, but his hands are really quick. And this guy was leaning in. He was giving Jake Paul tips on how to beat Joshua. It'll be a good fight, man. So you're picking Paul. I'm picking Joshua to win in the decision. That'd be interesting, Maybe Paul wins in a knockout. I don't know. I kind of like to see. I can give you a reason why I'd like to see it go either way. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but when I don't like that whole his manager and the way he has done the boxing world in Europe and.
Okay.
But that's the thing for me. That's not has nothing to do with boxing.
Anything else to plug? I'm gonna wrap it up.
I'm working on this Mets Yankees thing. A lot of stuff's been happening. I'm just trying to put it all together and be able to do something. But it's just been taking me some time, and hopefully I can put something out there before Tuesday. So
I was going to do a show on next Thursday night. I know it's Christmas night. If you want to do one, you're welcome to come on. We can do the show on Thursday night.
Are we talking New York Knicks basketball?
Congratulations to winning that. Hey, listen, it's something. It's a start.
It's a start.
I would celebrate it, me personally, and you can mock me and laugh at me all you want to. But now if you want to come on, I thought about it all week. I'd like to do a show Christmas night. We can go over the Christmas games. We can get the biggest games. I'll have all my stuff wrapped up if you want to come on 1 week from today, which would be the 25th. We could talk a little NBA if you want to. Because that's usually like the kick out, the tip off of the season, unofficial. It's already been done. They've already
we see eye to eye on the Knicks thing, and I think, like you said, it's just a cornerstone to build off of. But yeah, let's let me get back to you on that, and we can confirm it, and then you can announce it, and then we can do it.
Normal time. If you can't make it, send me your picks, and I'll let the audience know, man, because it is Christmas, and whatever.
And if I don't see you guys, be safe. If you have too much fun, call my guy Robert and other people. And make sure you get home safe, and enjoy your holiday season.
Man, great football sports weekend too. College football playoff. Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul.
And get back to me if we're going to do that show before the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm doing it. But I'm just saying, if you want to go, if you can't go, let me know. But either way, get back to me between now and definitely Wednesday, Thursday.
No, for this weekend. Are we doing it for with the guys?
No.
You're not doing it?
We may do one after. I was thinking we'll probably do one either before the national championship game or after the national championship.
No, you don't want to do it after these playoff games?
Nah. These guys are busy. They got families, and quite frankly, I'll be pretty busy this week. So, but we got all our picks out there.
Yeah,
we won't even count our picks in our thing. The picks for the college football, we'll all just compete against each other in that separately.
All right.
Yeah, because everybody's got their own blocks there and videos of each person's picks, other than my man Kenny, and I got to make up to him.
As long as everybody keeps a shirt on, I'm cool.
Yeah. Bad New Yorker, everybody. Appreciate you, man. All right, everybody. I'll be back here next week. 1 week from today. Merry Christmas. We'll say it again because I'll be back here talking some sports here and giving our predictions. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place here on The Real Sports.